Oh, you know, I said I could answer my question in one sentence, but then I had another thought, and that was, my other reason for being so involved is that I never want to have to say two words, and those words are President Romney. So, in order to have government of, by, and for the people, we need the people involved, participating in campaigns and elections. That's the only way it's going to happen. How do we do that? Well, I can tell you a very little bit about our experience starting the team on Mercer Island. And I'm glad that nobody's saying Mercer Island, oh, you can get all those Democrats in a phone booth. But that was 30 or 35 years ago, but no more. So, we started calling people on Mercer Island at the very end of March. On April 12th, we had our kickoff for our team at my house. And in the last 3 weeks, it's exactly 3 weeks from April 12th, we've had 3 phone banks and 1 voter registration drive. So we are off to a great start. And I want to end with a statement about organizing, and our action are really the heart of democracy. We really are the heart of democracy, circulating the life force of citizen participation to every part of the body politic. And I stand here to say that you and I, we are the heart of democracy. Thank you.
Hi everybody. Since Barbara didn't use her cheat sheet, I guess I'll put mine away too. My name is Philip Dong, and I'm here today and I'm very inspired. I'm an inspired Obama supporter, and I'm very, very inspired by everybody in this room. I'm completely new to volunteering in campaigns, unlike my co-team leader Barbara. I'm learning a lot from her, but this is a really wonderful and kind of overwhelming experience. But I just returned to the US from 3 years of nonprofit and volunteer work abroad. I was in the Marshall Islands, and also China. And so one of my big reasons for getting involved was that it was very shocking to come back and see what's happened to the political conversation in this country. And you can blame whatever causes or reasons you think, but it made me very nervous. And so instead of talking about it like the rain, something I can't do anything about, I thought, yeah, instead of agonizing, I would organize, as Barbara mentioned. So I reached out on a whim, and I went through the website, and very quickly things carried me along, and it was other people that kind of extended a hand and said, well, why don't you help this way? And when I found out there was no OFA team on Mercer Island, Barbara and I decided to start one, and that was we'd known each other for 20 minutes, and so that's how fast things move, and it's really inspiring. So as she mentioned, we have lots of activities we do. I'm sure many of you are familiar, phone banking and voter registration. These are all new things to me, but I've really just dug in and gotten my hands dirty. So that's what grassroots is, or I mean, what we do, but what is grassroots? As a completely new volunteer, to me, it's I know a lot of you probably had this thought, I know I have. I felt, what if I'm the only Democrat on the block? I mean, you're looking for winks or secret handshakes to figure out who's who. I think grassroots is breaking the silence. It's establishing a community, it's being the first voice that it's a very brave thing to do. It's being the first voice to reach out and let everybody else know that there's a very powerful community behind you that thinks and feels the same way about the most important issues facing our country. And so that's why it's really important. It's not about phone banking statistics or how many people you register, but it's letting people know that there are people like everyone in this room behind you. So I think that's what I've taken away in my short time as a volunteer. And I guess I'll finish up by saying that 1 month ago, I had absolutely zero campaign volunteering experience. I don't think anybody in this room has any less than that. So I've had a wonderful time. I mean, an absolutely wonderful time. This kind of highlights it. And if anybody's thinking about getting involved in any capacity, do it because it's often hard. It's quite often fun, and it's always very rewarding. So thank you, everybody. Thanks, OFA, and let's go Democrats.
I want to thank both Barb and Phil for sharing their experiences. I don't think you need any winks or secret handshakes in this room, but we do need all of you to go back out into your community and help us organize. There are volunteers all around tonight to sign you up and get you involved. So I will introduce Dwight Pels, Washington State Chairman of the Democratic Party, with this plea. Get involved.
All right, Democrats, you fired up. Let me ask you, I hear about this enthusiasm gap. Are you enthusiastic? Yeah. Are we going to re-elect the great president and keep this country on the right course? You know, this is an important election. The Republicans are very clear. They're very clear. They're saying if you vote for us, we're going to destroy the middle class in America. How many people agree with that? All right. They say, and they voted twice in Congress to cut Medicare in half. How many people in here support Medicare? And they want to repeal the health care bill that Congress passed. 70 years we've been waiting for national health care. Thank you, Congressman McDermott. And this president and this Congress got health care passed. How many people in here want to keep the Affordable Care Act in America? All right. We're ready to fire it up. We're going to open this campaign office today because we're ready to go door to door and talk to our neighbors. And I want to thank you very much. We've got one of the strongest Democratic parties in the country. We've got a state we're fighting for, the lovely Evergreen State. We have some wonderful speakers joining us today. We've got the DNC Chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And she's from Florida, which is about as far away as you can get and still be in the United States. Our states are very different. They're hot, we're cool. They're sunny, we're not. But Florida and Washington have one thing in common this year. What's that? They're both going for Obama on November 6th. All right. I'm going to be hearing from the next governor of the state of Washington, Jay Inslee, will be here in a minute. Now I want to bring up here one of the politicians that we really admire the most. A physician who fought his whole career for health care for Americans, voted for the Affordable Care Act, doesn't intend to see that repealed or taken away by either Congress or the courts. He's a fighter for us all. He's a man who always tells the truth. Let's bring up here our Congressman, Jim McDermott.
Start by giving you something to do. When you go home tonight, turn off your television, pull out the plug, and don't listen to it for the next 6 months. Okay? You're going to see, if you keep it on, you're going to see stuff on there that is going to make you so angry and so upset because of the untruths that are going to be told It's going to be the worst campaign you've ever been involved in. I believe we will. You know, 2008 was an interesting year because we broke 2 ceilings, 2 barriers we thought we could never break. I never thought that we would have a legitimate, very capable, very good woman rise to the level of being capable of being President of the United States. And there are also lots of you, like me, who never thought that a person of color could become President of the United States. Now it's time you remember that it was your power that made that happen. It was people using the internet, walking, knocking on doors, doing all the grunt work of campaigns that you folks do. All of us up here on the stage know that. We don't get anywhere unless you're behind us. And we thought, well, we've done that. Now we've taken care of women and we've taken care of people of color, and we're going to go on into the bright future. But you know what? The American Heritage Institute and the Cato Institute and all those folks decided we're going to go back after them again with a very sharp stick, and we're going to keep poking. You have watched an assault on women in the U.S. Congress like nothing I've ever seen. They went after family planning and the right to choose and every single thing again and again and again. They are out there. Don't have any doubts that they're out there. And the only hope against that is you. It's you. What you do between now and then. The same is true about people of color. The assaults on people and the immigration stuff that's going on in this country, all of what's going on, is basically a racist assault on people who don't look like me. Okay? So don't be confused by what you see on television. And it really is your power that's going to make the difference. What you do, you got 180 days to never stop running. That's really what this is about. 180 days to the 6th of November. Now, I was also thinking as I stand over here, there's a famous story about Tip O'Neill. A young congressman got elected and went bouncing into the speaker's office and said, I want to be on this committee, and I want to be that, and I want to do this. And Tip O'Neill looked at him and said, what's your name? The guy gave him his name. He said, Tip said, I never heard of you. Why don't you go back and get reelected so we know it's not a fluke? Okay? We've got to prove in this election that it is no fluke that the Democratic Party is going to change the country. We are a country that is gradually changing. Some parts of it already are more than 50% people of color. And there are places in this state and this country where there are all kinds of people assaulting on women in various ways, and you know, and my people are telling me, get off here. I'm only supposed to talk till Jay gets here. But I got stuff to say. The worst thing I can imagine, as somebody from the state of Washington, is to have us succeed with Barack Obama and not succeed in the governor's race in the state. We need Jay to lead at the state level and make this a great state who takes advantage of the Affordable Care Act and all the things that are going to come out of the Congress when we take the 25 seats we need to win the House. I was in the legislature House, and he's another one of those lawyers who lasted, a couple terms from Yakima, and then he decided he's going to go to Congress, and he got elected. Blew my mind that a guy like him could get elected in Yakima. Don't ever forget, he got elected in Yakima. And then he came over to the west side and got elected, and he's going to be the greatest governor we've ever had. And I want you now to come on the stage and give you the next governor of the state of Washington, Jay Inslee.
This we know. America deserves a forward-thinking president. Washington State deserves a forward-thinking governor. Barack Obama is a forward-thinking president, and I intend to be a forward-thinking governor. That's what this election is about. We are a forward-thinking, forward-moving state. We always have been, and we always will be. We are going to go forward on the creation of clean energy jobs across the state of Washington. We're going to go forward on making sure our children know science, math, and technology so they can compete with the Chinese students. We are going to go forward on women's health and a woman's right of choice, not backward. We are going to go forward on marriage equality, not backward. And we'll do these things because of who we are. We Washingtonians understand a couple of particular virtues. One of working together and the other of innovation. And we are going to work together in the next several months to make sure our state continues to move forward. And the most important people in our state's future are not on this podium. The most important people are right here with the people who have the capability of winning votes from Starbuck to Swim and Hoquiam to Hum Tulips. These and you are the people we are counting on to keep our state moving forward. I want to ask you to now shake hands with the most important people in the state. That is the person on your right and the person on your left. And thank you for sending emails. That's the most important people here. Democrats win. It doesn't matter how much money the Koch brothers have, they cannot erase how blue the state of Washington is. We have got people working to share the message of job creation. And we have a message of job creation. I intend to wake up every single morning for the next several years dedicating myself, heart and soul, to get 280,000 people back to work and giving Washington State a new birth of economic growth. That's what I intend to do. And I can count on you all. Now I get to introduce a great friend and a national leader who's come all the way from the state of Florida to join us today, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Schultz has many important positions. Congresswoman on the steering committee, vice chair, appropriations committee, leader of the Democratic Party. And she has done an outstanding job in every single job that she has done. But she has two jobs that I want to note in her introduction. First, as an outstanding mother. One of the, probably the most important jobs in the world. I think we're going to agree on that. And the second is as a leader who is a breast cancer survivor. He has shown grace and courage. And Debbie was a leader with many others, with Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi, and I had some role in passing a bill to make sure that every breast cancer survivor in the United States of America now has a right to get health insurance. Neither Debbie Wasserman Schultz or myself is going to allow Rob McKenna to take away that right from 3 million
and be complacent, that we live, sleep, and breathe this campaign for the next 187 days, and that we carry Barack Obama back to the White House on the shoulders of Washingtonians. So I'm so proud to be here and so proud of your state party chair, Dwight Pels. Job. This is one of the best organized, most well-coordinated campaign efforts in America, and it is thanks to Dwight's leadership. With the Obama for America team, with the state party team, so you are already in really good shape. And so I'm so excited to be here to continue our quest to fight for the middle class, fight for working families, help Barack Obama continue to move this country forward and get the economy turned around like he's been working so hard to do from day one. Thank you. I'm also proud to be here with my good friend and your fantastic representative in Washington, Jim McDermott. Such a privilege to serve with men and women like Jim McDermott and like Jay Inslee. And Jay, we miss you. We miss you, but we know how important it was for you to come home to Washington and demonstrate, as you did so capably when you were serving them in our nation's capital, that you are 100% fully committed to making sure that we continue the wonderful work of your current governor, Christine Gregoire, and that we not give this state to the extremists. Which is exactly what happened when James Comey became governor of this state. Just imagine. I heard this story as I was coming into Washington last night. Rob McKenna, when asked by a woman last week whether he supported a woman's right to choose and would stand up for that right, what was his response? Yeah! So go get a job. Well, if that's not yet another example of the callous indifference that represents the Republican Party's attitude towards the priorities of women in America today, I don't know what is. The last thing that we need to do is put someone with that kind of an attitude towards women and our priorities in the governor's mansion in Washington. And we're going to make sure that we have a champion for women's rights, a champion for working families in the governor's mansion here, and ensure that Jay Inslee becomes the next governor of the great state of Washington. Surprising that birds of a feather flock together. Mitt Romney, well deserved, get it either. When it comes to what matters to women, whether it's making investments in education, Mitt Romney revealed, of course, accidentally, because he was at a fundraiser for big dollar donors, when he revealed his secret plans to essentially dismantle the Department of Education. Accidentally, you had reporters on the sidewalk, on a public sidewalk, who heard those plans and reported them. That this is a guy who believes that we should return to the failed policies of the past. That the economic disaster that the Republican administration handed Barack Obama, we should return to the policies that got us there in the first place. You remember when President Obama took office?
Oh yeah.
We were hemorrhaging 750,000 jobs a month. And he inherited probably the biggest set of problems at once of any president in history since FDR. I mean, really. So he got to work. He got to work making sure that we passed the Recovery Act to invest important resources into our economy and stop the bleeding and begin to get things turned around. And now, 3 years later, we've had 25 straight months of private sector job growth. We rescued the American automobile industry when what we did Romney has done let Detroit go bankrupt. So we wouldn't have an American automobile industry anymore if it were left up to Mitt Romney. He made sure that we focused on giving everybody a fair shot, everybody a fair shake, and everybody playing by the same set of rules. As opposed to Mitt Romney, who's embraced the Romney-Ryan budget, which would end Medicare as we know it, pull the safety net out from under our seniors. It would make sure that millionaires and billionaires, who are already doing quite well, would do even better, and that maybe the crumbs from that largesse would trickle down and help everybody else. As opposed to Barack Obama, who pushed to make sure that 18 different tax breaks were passed into law for small business owners, fought to make sure the payroll tax cut was adopted and then extended while Republicans did everything they could to block it, fought for the Affordable Care Act to become law so that, like Jay said, we could for a pre-existing condition, and that women, simply because of our gender, were not charged more for the same coverage that a man gets, simply because that we're women. Ensuring that young adults can stay on their parents' insurance until they're 26 years old. That preventative care is available to women without a copay or a deductible, like affordable birth control and medical and colonoscopies and and yes, men, we want to help you too. The preventative care is available to you as well. If left up to Mitt Romney, he would do away with all that. Those are his top priorities. So when Mitt Romney says that he thinks that people just don't understand what he wants to do,
we understand.
I think the issue is that we do. We do understand. And I don't know about you. Well, yeah, actually I do know about you. But I'm not going back. We are going to go forward. We are going to go forward together. And make the kind of progress that every American wants to make sure that we can out-compete and out-innovate and out-educate the rest of the world, give everybody in America an opportunity to be successful, not just the people who already are. We want to make sure that we can adopt a tax code that is fair, that ensures that we can have the best education system in America, that we can give opportunities to our returning veterans and our wounded veterans and the folks that need a little bit of help to make sure that they can get an education and a job that will give them a chance to live the American dream. And yes, to make sure that women and our priorities are not just discarded as a result of the Republican Party and Mitt Romney's full embrace of extremism. That's the kind of future that women in America will have if left up to Mitt Romney. So I'm going to ask you, dig deeper than you ever thought you could. Make sure that over the next 187 days that you live, sleep, and breathe this campaign, and that all of us wake up on the morning of November 7th and know that we did everything we could to to send Barack Obama back to the White House. They are appreciative that this president has brought us this far, and they want to make sure that we can work together. Instead of the divisive policies that the Republicans have engaged in, imagine the goals of Republicans going to Washington to focus on not creating jobs, not getting the economy turned around. They focused on one job, Barack Obama's. Democrats have focused on American jobs. We've focused on giving opportunity to everyone. We want to make sure that we work together so that we can continue to get things turned around and improve everybody's opportunity to be successful. And the Republicans' goal is defeating Barack Obama. But we aren't going to let that happen, are we, Washington? We're going to make sure that everyone in this room exponentially increases the amount of volunteerism and activism. So while the Republicans were working on outright winging each other and engaged in their circular firing squad, we got busy. We've been organizing and mobilizing and door knocking and phone calling and talking to everyone we know and ensuring that this people-powered campaign propels Barack Obama back to the White House on to victory on November 6th.